toasty warm. To be early is to be on time. And so today we start promptly at noon, which is 11:55. Just want to welcome everybody here to the Greenwood Cemetery. This is our 6th annual Wreaths Across America here, and it's been a great event. Every year it's gotten just a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and it's such an honorable thing to be a part of. And I was graciously invited back. Unfortunately, our committee's Melissa Salgado is not able to be here today, and so they were like, we'll let you do the same thing you've always done, so I'm trying not to put anybody to sleep. But just want to thank everybody for coming out here. You know, it's cold, and it's important to be here, and all of you should be really proud of yourselves for braving the weather and getting out here and being a part of this great event. I'm going to start off with an opening prayer and a statement by Mr. Alan Hatfield. He is our 2024 Livingston County Veteran of the Year, and he is much further decorated than that, but that is, I think, very important, and I'm going to leave it at that for his start, and then I'm going to let him talk a little bit about it.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, part of this ceremony. I retired out 41 years of military service in the Army and the Army National Guard. And I've come up to be part of the service. I'm very active with Fowlerville VFW post 6464 and the American Legion post 141 in Powell. So let us pray. Heavenly Father, we gather today to remember the brave men and women who gave their lives in service to our nation, our state, and our community. We thank you for their courage, dedication, and sacrifice defending our freedoms and our way of life. We pray for the comfort and peace for their families and loved ones. Bless our veterans, past and present, and for writing on a blank check to defend our freedoms, our family, and our way of life. In closing, again, I thank you, all military veterans, men and women, active duty warriors, not just here, but throughout our great nation, for their service and their sacrifice. And everyone said, Amen.
Next up, our national anthem will be sung by Chrissy Griffin.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Today is National Wreaths Across America Day. At this very moment, our mission to remember, honor, and teach is being carried out at Arlington National Cemetery, as well as over 4,500 additional locations in all 50 U.S. states, at sea and abroad. Thank you all for joining us here in Fowlerville today. We are all proud to be Americans that live in a free society made up of many people from many walks of life. The freedoms we enjoy today have not come without a price. Lying here before us and in cemeteries throughout this nation are men and women who gave their lives so that we can live in freedom and without fear. Because of them, we can worship as we see fit. Because of them, we can raise our children to believe as we do. Because of them, we can travel to all ends of this great nation without permissions. Because of them, we are free to vote for whomever we feel should lead us without explanation. It's because of them we have the right to succeed or fail at whatever endeavor we wish to pursue. The United States of America was founded on the ideals of freedom, justice, and equality. Our nation stands as a shining beacon of liberty and freedom to the entire world. Today we thank those who gave their lives to keep us free, and we shall not forget you. We shall always remember. Today, many of you here are veterans of wars and conflicts that America has had to fight to protect the innocent and oppressed. This nation has always been first to stand up for freedom of people around the world. Many of you here today have answered that call and served your country well. We are here today to say thank you, and we are honored to know you. If you are a veteran at this time, please raise your hand and allow us to acknowledge you. There are many men and women serving in all branches of our military. They are part of the best trained, best equipped force in the entire world. We honor them and their families for their sacrifices they make each day to keep our country safe from terrorism, hatred, and injustice. Quoting our 40th United States President, the great Ronald Reagan, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day, we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like to live in the United States where men were free. Today we show a united front of gratitude and respect across the United States of America as we remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach our children, the value of freedom. I am going to bring up next someone who's very special to this cause. Her name is Mary Helfman. She has spearheaded this for 6 years. A lot of times I end up on the mic, other people end up on the microphone. A lot of people probably get a lot of credit. But at the end of the day, this event wouldn't be happening in Fowlerville without Mary Helfman every year.
I'm honored to be here as part of the 4th of July Committee and as part of the Wreaths Across America Committee. It is very little that I have done other than just pray and be proud. And thank you to every one of you veterans for my freedom and my family's freedom. I always choose a veteran every year in my heart that I honor, and I'd like to just spend a second here to share with you a special man. Jerry Edward Lake was in the Army and served in Vietnam in 1967 and 68. Under Jerry served and his brother to Roger Lake, he married Linda and became father to Steve and Lisa and grandpa to a group of wonderful grandchildren. He was known throughout the Livingston County community and loved as a person who served and loved his country. Please accept, if there's someone here from the Like family, a wreath in his honor, and let's give a round of applause, please. I am proud to announce our speakers today. We're just going to spend a few minutes, and every one of them are very dear patriots. The first one I'd love to announce is Representative Ann Boland. I'm proud to say that she is a personal friend of mine. She serves in the 49th House District, which spans portions of Livingston, Wester Oakland, and includes the cities of Brighton, Wild Lake, Wixom, and a portion of Novi, as well as Brighton Township, Green Oak, and Commerce and Lyon Townships Park. Representative Boland serves on the influential House Appropriations Committee and handles the state budget. She serves as a Republican Vice Chair of the General Government Appropriations Subcommittee and is also a member of the Department of Health and Human Services and Corrections Subcommittee. I know her to be a strong and faithful patriot. Will you please welcome my friend, Representative Ann Boland.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much for being here today. It really is a great privilege to be here and to join in this effort. And this tradition, Wreaths Across America, people are doing this in communities across the nation in honor of those who have served. As a young girl, my dad was an Army veteran, and he used to take my brothers and decorate the graves on Memorial Day with the flags. First year after he passed away, we went to the cemetery, and nobody had left a flag on the graves of the veterans. And it was heartbreaking. And so my brothers have taken on that tradition where my father is buried. But this Wreaths Across America, we can never forget those who have served and across the country. But also, our veterans continue to serve us when they come home. We cannot forget. They cannot forget what they have been through, what they have seen. Today we are a little chilly perhaps, but when I get a little cold or a little hot, I always think of those who are fighting, have fought for our freedoms, and the bravery and the courage, the conditions that they have served in. And so today, again, thank you very, very much for being here, bearing this cold a little bit, and I hope we can continue this for generations to come. And I am very proud to be a part of this Fowlerville community that does this year after year after year. So thank you.
Thank you, Ann. The next speaker is Commissioner Roger Deaton, a wonderful man from District 6. He was enlisted in the U.S. Navy in 1986, serving in VFA 87 F-18 Squadron aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt and USS Abraham Lincoln, working in the maintenance department. Roger earned his undergraduate degree in criminal justice and served 8 years in the world's greatest Navy. For most of his adult life, he has been a Legionnaire and PUFL member for 34 years. Also is a member of the VFW and AMVETS. Rogers has served at the post, district, state, and national level in many positions. Rogers shared his simple philosophy: back to the basics, continue the synergy between the multiple veteran groups, further my education to support veterans and their families, and improve our great communities. And me knowing Roger through the years, I know he does exactly that. I'm very proud to represent, or have him here to represent the 6th District.
Well, as I get older, I lot of appreciation and admiration for volunteers. So my prepared speech is going to be centered more about the volunteers and our veterans. And in one I guess volunteer is Morel Worcester. He's the owner of Worcester Wreath Company in Harrington, Maine. When he was 12 years old, he was a paper boy, and he won a trip to Washington, D.C. It was his first to the nation's capital, and one that would change the trajectory of his life and lives of millions across the country. Seeing hundreds of thousands of graves and those at the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery made a lasting impression on him. It was one to be experienced to follow him through his whole life and through a successful career, reminding him of his good fortune and in large part to the values of his nation and the veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. In 1992, the Worcester Wreath Company found themselves with a surplus of wreaths nearing the end of the holiday season. Remembering his boyhood experience at Arlington, Worcester realized he had an opportunity to honor the country's veterans. With the aid of the Maine Senator Olympia Snow, arrangements were made for the surplus wreaths to be placed at Arlington, in one of the older sections that had been receiving fewer and fewer visitors each year. As plans were underway to transport the wreaths to Washington, several other individuals and organizations stepped up to help. James Prout, owner of a local trucking company, generously provided transportation all the way to Virginia. Volunteers from the local American Legion and VFW posts gathered with members of the community to decorate each wreath with a red hand-tied bow. All helped to organize the wreath lane, which included a special ceremony at the tomb of the unknown soldier. In 2007, the Worcester family, along with the support of veteran organizations and a variety of other groups and individuals who had helped with their annual Veterans Wreath ceremony in Arlington, formed Wreaths across America. To continue and expand the effort and support others around the country who had wanted to do the same. The simple mission, like Brandon mentioned earlier, is to remember, honor, and teach. Just 1 year later, over 300 locations held wreath laying ceremonies in every state, Puerto Rico, and 24 overseas cemeteries. Over 100,000 wreaths were placed on veterans' graves. Over 60,000 volunteers participated. And that year, December 13th of 2008, was unanimously voted by United States Congress as Wreaths Across America Day. In 2018, a delegation of volunteers and supporters were invited to the American Battle Monuments Commission to hold a wreath ceremony to honor the nearly 10,000 heroes interned at Normandy American Cemetery in France. 2022, Wreaths Across America and its national network of volunteers placed more than 2.7 million sponsored veteran wreaths on headstones on our nation's service members. It's over 3,700 cemeteries. This was accomplished with support of 5,000 sponsorship groups, corporation contributions, and in-kind donations from people just like you. The wreath laying that began more than 30 years ago is still held annually on the second or third Saturday in December. Wreaths Across America's annual pilgrimage to Harrington, Maine, in Arlington National Cemetery has become known as the world's largest veterans parade. Every year, the convoy of trucks, local law enforcement, staff, and supporters stop at schools, monuments, veterans' homes, and communities along the way to talk about Wreaths Across America's mission and remind people how important it is to remember, honor, and teach. As a district commander for the American Legion's 6th District, which covers Ingham County, Livingston County, and Genesee County, our 27 posts have donated to this organization in years past. As a veteran and citizen, I have volunteered and placed wreaths at Holly National Cemetery and right here in Fowlerville. I have taught my children so that they too will honor. I'm going to copy Brandon. I have a little excerpt from Ronald Reagan's speech. It was pretty cool. This was in 1985 in Arlington. I'll end with this. Each new day carries within the potential for breakthroughs for progress. Each new day bursts possibilities. And so, hope is realistic and despair is a pointless little sin. And peace fails when we forget to pray to the source of all peace in life and happiness. I think sometimes of General Matthew Ridgway, who the night before D-Day tossed sleepless on his cot and talked to the Lord and listened for the promise that God made to Joshua. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. So thank you for being here today. My family and I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Very, very proud and very honored. The next person I'm going to announce is probably one of the most humble people I know. She works tirelessly for the village of Fowlerville. And when I asked her how she'd like to be announced, she goes, "Oh, well, I guess just say I'm the president of the village of Fowlerville." Well, she's a lot more than that, and a wonderful woman for our community. Please welcome President Carol Flynn.
I am honored to speak with you today during this day of reflection and remembrance. My grandfather, husband, and son were members of the armed forces. There is nothing greater than remembering and honoring them and other individuals who have served those who have given ultimate sacrifices for our great nation. We are one nation with one flag. I am thankful to live in a country where citizens honor their veterans in days such as Memorial Day, 4th of July, Veterans Day, and a day like today. When each wreath is placed down by the graveside, it symbolizes acknowledging the sacrifices that the service member gave on behalf of our country. Thank you to the committee, 4th of July committee, for being the sponsor of the veterans across America. And thank you to the volunteers that make the ceremony a success. This is a ceremony to remember, honor, and teach. We must continue to remember to do that, to honor and to teach the next generation about the things that make America both good and great. Make sure you understand that the freedom and liberty that they enjoy every day does not come without cost. As you leave today, know that your very presence here has honored those in their final resting place, and living veterans, active duty warriors, and their families. We are here today to say thank you, and we are honored to know that you and everyone.
Thank you, Carol. Yeah, please don't cry. Our last speaker today is probably one of my favorite parts of this program. Every year we take a theme and a special group we want to honor, a special part of our veterans. This year we chose suicide intervention as our theme, which some people kind of look at, well, you're here honoring people, isn't this kind of a very dark or something that we don't really want to talk about? Well, no, as you'll learn from our speaker, this is a very important part of what Wreaths does. We do educate, and we not only serve and want to promote and thank those that have passed, but we also want to protect those that serve so well and need our protection. I am honored to present our next speaker. Brandon Bearfield is presenting our theme this year. Brandon has been honored to serve as a West Point cadet and has served in many volunteer capacities, either an appointed or as a volunteer, serving our community endlessly. This man epitomizes a true veteran's heart, with constantly giving to others in need, despite his many emotional, physical, and financial setbacks throughout his career. I am very proud to have this gentleman here, and I want to thank him for everything he does. I have a personal place in my heart because he's my supervisor, and also he's a very dear friend. Would you please welcome Mr. Brandon Bearfield?
So they told me I had 30 minutes. And then they told me that only applies to warm states. So I am actually going to read this because I get easily distracted and then we'll be down a tangent. It will be 20 minutes. But before I get started, I would just like to acknowledge all the young people here, the ROTC. Without them learning about this and this process, it gives me reason for hope. So I'm extremely happy. When you guys leave here today, you should be very proud about the fact that you participated in this event. Because it is not easy to stand at rest while other people are talking. So thank you. So good afternoon. My name is Brandon Bearfield. So first I'd like to just state that I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. I want to thank the local Wreaths across America for their ongoing commitment to making this happen in our community. Just being out here today, we are part of the more than 2 million people that are participating in this exact same event across the country. We stand here today to acknowledge the sacrifices and challenges impacting our service members. The men and women who serve in the military protecting our country are just that, protectors. We've got protectors standing right here. They have chosen to accept the burden of standing between good and evil, protecting our friends and family from foes. They strive to provide the security to a population who frequently never stops to think, why am I free and why am I secure? Make no mistake, it is absolutely a choice to serve in the United States military. They choose to go through weeks or months, or in some cases years of training, isolation from family, hardship, and personal sacrifice. It's funny, as we were standing here talking about the cold, my grandfather was in the Marine Corps and one of the Frozen Chosen. If you don't know what that is, take a look. It explains why he did not have 3 toes, and I never knew about it until at his funeral. There are trade-offs, to be sure, to being a soldier. Soldiers build camaraderie. You build a bond with people who understand your challenges because they're going through those same challenges with you. You now are connected to a group with a common goal, a common purpose, a sense of family. You're a member of a special organization that stands for something. You're a protector. Unfortunately, those choices also come with unforeseen consequences. The friends you have a different perspective on the world. The soldier has a different perspective on the world. The memory of relationships that you previously held, they feel right in your heart because it's familiar, but in your head, it just feels slightly off. Something's different. People slowly drift apart, and you're awash in the emotions as you start this journey of grief, anxiety, excitement, pride, anticipation, all exciting about what is to come. The one day comes, planned or unplanned, that you leave the military. You re-experience all of those same emotions. The family that you have come to know as part of a group and an organization is now geographically more distant. Your routine is uncertain. You're returning home and it feels unfamiliar. The friends that you once have moved on with their lives at home, and the friends you made in the military are now moving on with their lives. Once again, you are sitting there faced with the question of now what? What am I doing? The main difference is the first time you go through this experience, the series of thoughts and emotions that you faced were controlled because people were telling you where to go, when to go, how to go, and what to do when you got there. That is not the case when you re-enter society. Now you have to figure out, where am I going to live? Where am I going to work? What is my purpose? How do I fit in? And how do I still continue to serve as a protector? Just because you leave the military or the service does not mean the mentality of being a protector ends. We have been conditioned and trained that discussing your thoughts and feelings is a sign of weakness. Expressing uncertainty and self-doubt is weakness. Expressing depression or sadness is weakness. Protectors don't show weakness. We protect. The mentality of being a protector doesn't end because you have weakness. The burden falls on us to watch over others, not for others to watch over us. And while we're trying to figure out our place in the world, this perpetual line of internal thought, internal dialogue, constantly running and growing. this churning, overwhelming feeling of uncertainty becomes all-consuming. It doesn't matter if you're smiling, doesn't matter if you're in a group of people, doesn't matter if you're alone, if you're laughing, you're constantly having this thought in your head about why do I have this weakness? Self-doubt is weakness, depression is weakness, anxiety is weakness. It's all reminders of this self-created turmoil that you have. That sometimes when you are in a room, the loudest thought in that room is the ongoing dialogue that you have this personal weakness. Unfortunately, you can't discuss it because it's not considered okay to discuss it. Acknowledging your self-doubt eventually turns to overwhelming self-loathing. One day you reach the conclusion that you can find no visible way to crawl out of this abyss that you have created for yourself that nobody is even aware of. Since 9/11, 4 times more soldiers have died from suicide than have been killed in active duty. Since COVID started, the numbers for adolescent suicide have gone up exponentially. Last year, 523 service members took their own lives. I do not know a single service member who is not familiar with or associated to somebody who has been inflicted by suicide. There are strong stigmas attached to discussing mental health. As I've said, protectors, we challenge to, it's a challenge for us to admit to ourselves or to others that we're struggling through something, that we might need assistance from somebody on the outside. While you're serving, discussing depression, anxiety, trauma, that can all harm your career, can end your career. After serving, it feels burdensome to discuss these topics. Protectors are not supposed to burden others. We bear the burdens for others. So going out seems like an imposition. I don't want to place this burden that I carry on somebody else so that they have to deal with it. Today, not only do we acknowledge our veterans and their families, but we also make a pledge to fight against suicide. We need to work as a community to support those who have protected us. The fact that you're all here today demonstrates you've already accepted that challenge. We need to look out for protectors because depression and trauma do not stereotype. Race does not matter. Financial background doesn't matter. Your rank in the military doesn't matter. Your military branch shouldn't matter, but then some people go in the Navy. Depression, trauma, PTSD can happen to anybody at any time. The ability to acknowledge your depression or PTSD and seek help is a strength. The greatest way that we can provide support is by being available and asking the question. Just because you ask someone about suicide doesn't mean you're placing that thought in their head. I assure you, if you're asking about it, they've had that thought there before you asked. Making it known that you are available and willing to listen could be enough to generate that difficult conversation. Someone in a mental health crisis will not ask for help, but they may consider accepting help that has been freely offered. Ignoring depression, PTSD, and trauma doesn't miraculously make it go away. And you do not need to be a trained therapist to let somebody know that they matter in the world and that you're there if they need help. Sometimes just having the resources that they could use is enough. I sincerely pray that everyone here will make a personal commitment to reach out to somebody just to let them know you matter and you're not alone. I also challenge anybody struggling with their internal demons, stand strong, take the incredibly difficult first step to acknowledge that maybe you need help from somebody for something that you're going through. Once again, it would demonstrate you're a protector. You're protecting those you care about and love from having the trauma of you not being in this world. I say thank you to those who provide protection for us. Thank you for your continued protection. And thank you for everybody who supports our service members. I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brandon, for your words. It's kind of hard to follow that, isn't it? So. Well, now the reason we were here today, I would like my wreath presenters to come forward by their wreath, if they would please. Just stand up and come over. And I will be announcing them. you to all of you for coming today. Thank you for representing so many people, thousands that have died. The first wreath will be presented by Butch Ogden from post 6464. Butch served as a sergeant and has volunteered in so many ways in our community. He's held national, state, and local positions and has been honored. We thank you so much, Butch. And again, that was a POW. Next, we have Sergeant Ryan Call, who served with the United States Army, and he will lay a veteran's wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Army. Thank you, Sergeant Call. Next, we have Private First Class Brian Shanebrook, who served in the United States Marine Corps. He will lay a veteran's wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Marine Corps. Thank you. Next, we have Petty Officer 3rd Class Chad Monroe, who served in the United States Army. This is being covered by Roger Beacon. He'll lay a veteran's wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Navy. Thank you so much, Roger. Next, we have Senior Master Sergeant Ken Reinhardt, who served as the United States Air Force and will lay a veteran's wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Air Force. Thank you, Sergeant Reinhardt. Next, we have Command Master Chief E9 Petty Officer Bill Ulmer, who served in the United States Coast Guard. He will now lay a wreath on behalf of all those who served and are serving in the United States Coast Guard Enriching Marines. Thank you, Master Chief. Next, we have Sergeant Joe Beer, and I still mess his name up, that's sorry. Specialist Alex Beer, who served as the Michigan Army National Guard. They'll lay a veteran's wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the Michigan Army National Guard or the Michigan Air Guard. Next, we have the Fowlerville Police Department and EMS program. Do we have Bob Pike? No. Okay, we want to, would you mind putting down the wreath for us? This is in honor of the brave men and women from the Fowlerville Police Department and the Fowlerville Fire Department, in memory of all who have served and are currently serving our community as first responders. Next, we have our Blue Star family, represented by Sergeant Danielle Tilley. This wreath is not only in honor of the Gold Star, but the Blue Star the families who are currently deployed in the Middle East, and the families who are been left behind. Thank you so much for your service and giving. Lastly, we have Brandon Beerfield, West Point cadet. He will lay a wreath for suicide intervention. Thank you, Cadet Beerfield. Thank you to all our presenters. We appreciate everything you've done. Brandon?
Well, there's some really heartfelt stuff up here. And as usual, Brandon Beerfield left a mess on my desk and so same thing I do at work. I just shut out the front of the desk and hope somebody else takes care of it. So moving forward, we had to make a couple of adjustments here, so just bear with me. Oh, so before you leave, those of you who presented, we have some gift bags. Go over here. Make sure before you leave, you take your gift bag with you. Also, don't forget to stay around for your photo opportunity with Steve. We're going to do our military honors, which are going to be handled by our Howell High School JROTC. If you guys could step forward now and do the military honors, we'd appreciate it. Oh, sorry. Okay. Thank you. Next up, we have Mr. Tony Cohn, and he has some announcements to make. Thank you.
The committee would like to give a special thanks to Mary Helfman, who has spearheaded this program for the last 5 years, along with her husband Gary, who donates the chairs, heaters, anything else we ask for from the A1 Rental Shop in Howell. We'd also like to thank Dan and Angela Bellinger with Good Deeds Coffee, providing warm beverages and snacks each year. We'd also like to give a special thanks to Brandon Denby, who's the co-founder of Wreaths Across America in Fowlerville, and our MC for this event. We'd also like to thank the 4th of July Committee, Diane Kernelzek, Melissa Salgado, Jim Mayhew, Patrick and Tammy Navarrola, Kelly DeHaan, myself, Tony Kahn. We'd like to give a special thanks to the Fowlerville band members who played for us today: Owen Smith, Nathan Zalagi, the Marine Corps League, the VFW 6464, and our community partners, the Village of Fowlerville manager, Kathy. She changed her name on me. Gutsky. Along with her staff, Kathy Elliott with the DPW, Police Chief John Tyler, Fowlerville News and Views, and the rest of our community partners. Without all these people coming together, this event would not have taken place. Let's give them all a round of applause, please.
Okay, we encourage everyone here today, whether placing a wreath or not, there's plenty of wreaths, please place a wreath, or maybe more. Stop by a veteran's grave site, any of these ones with the flags out here, and don't just lay the wreath there. Look at the name on that grave site and say that person's name aloud, and let them know that they have not been forgotten. Thank them for their service to our country. It's just a small act that goes a long way toward keeping the memory of those veterans alive. And remember, we're not here today to decorate the graves. We're here to remember not their deaths. We're here to remember their lives and the sacrifices they made for ours. Each wreath is a gift of appreciation from a grateful America. Thank you again, all of you, for being here, braving the cold, being a part of this great opportunity, and teaching our kids and future generations what it takes to keep a free country. The wreaths are over here. You guys can step over that at this time. Those of you that were part of the ceremony, please come up here and get your pictures taken. And everybody have a great and blessed day.